I've seen some really interesting middle squares here. What I'm really curious to see at this point is something more niche, you know? Something more interesting. Queeline and Bellerot is
Wheeline and
not that
Ballarat,
niche.
that's not that niche. Yeah, that's definitely a one that you can do fairly early. Honestly,
Very early.
you could rush that. I don't expect we'll see players really rush it, but you could if you thought the middle square was that important.
Yeah.
As far as actually rushable ones, Kindred cookbooks, very rushable. DLC Shields is kind of like rushable as you're setting up through Shadowkeep. So I expect that's one that we'll see players go for pretty early. 3 DLC Spirit Ashes, 4 DLC Talismans. There's a lot of acquiring in that row too. So I expect that's probably going to be a split one where one player gets one square, one player gets another square. It won't be too scary of a row, but if somehow somebody just ignores all that gathering, that could be a very scary, very quick line. Like, that's a line that if you were playing solo, you could get done in like half an hour at most, maybe like 20 minutes.
That row 3 also looking a little interesting. You have Ancient Dragon Man, Dryleaf Dane, and then Queeline. You can rush all 3 of those. So that's might be a little bit of a split thing of like, okay, do I need Ancient Dragon Man? I think here a lot of weight is going to be put into, do I need the southern region coast access? Because if so, Ancient Dragon Man is even more valuable. That value like skyrockets. We have Egon's Furled Fingers. So that's already one reason. In the same row, let's see if there's anything else here. Do we have anything else in the southern region?
Perfumed Oil of Rellana is up there.
Okay. I guess Emir, Mother of Fingers.
Yeah, and Jolan and Anna.
Yeah.
Eventually you're going to need that.
Not too
it's also
great, but
pretty good for 3 unique invaders because at Ancient Dragon Man there is the Ancient Dragon Man Invader, as well as I believe Dryleaf Dane does count as an invader. Is that right? Or no, he's a boss.
Queeline would though.
Queeline,
Ancient Dragon Man, Moore could be an invader. If you really have that square there for quite a while, you could do Jolan and Anna as both invaders. You know, killing Anna on the way to Matir. And then Jolan
I doubt
afterwards.
it's gonna last. That would be crazy if it lasted all the way to then.
That would be awesome. But yeah, very, very unlikely. But we've seen it before. We talked about this yesterday, right? Where like there's some squares that like are seen as like very early squares, but because of the way the board plays out, it's like you don't have time to do that in the early game because there's so many other things that are being rushed. All of a sudden, you have a bingo line looking at you. Even though the square is easy, it is not in that moment something worth going for. So you sometimes have like outliers, like 3 unique NPC invaders that hits late game 40, 50 minutes in. You're like, oh, I can still grab this real quick. I might as well do that now, you know?
Yeah, we saw that with Bloodfiend's arm on one of the matches yesterday where it's like, oh, you could do that right away. And it ended up being like the 15th square or something.
Yeah.
That it just, nobody had time for it.
Yeah, there was a match actually that I also had versus V-Swed where it was Blessings of America for some reason was on the board for a really long time. And I did the Tree Sentinel duo for 2 Blessings of America, and that's how I got it. Rather than going for the Church and Reprimand. You know what I mean? Sometimes that happens where those squares, all of a sudden, the late game synergy actually does still play an effect. And we start off here, nighttime for blanks and very foggy currently in the Graveside Plains. Both going for DLC Talismans for the look of it. Going for Blade of Mercy.
I really like this play because even if you don't end up getting the square, it's just such a powerful talisman. Like, you don't have to spend your money on another talisman. This is just a great one to get. 20% extra damage for 20 seconds after taking a critical hit, those like riposte or visceral attack type attacks. It is just so good. It's one that honestly I would consider in some cases grabbing even if that square wasn't on the board, just because it is a powerful talisman. And so both of them having access to it now is going to be great. Blank's grabbing the Grace here at the Ruins, but Swed just skipping it, saying, I don't really need to come back to this later.
I think he wants to just go as fast as possible, trying to snag away those DLC talismans.
Yeah, for sure. So other than that one, there is the one that they can get in the Manfly Village, Ailing Talisman or something like that.
Yes.
And then, other than that, it gets a little bit slower for the next 2 DLC talismans, but you know they've got some options. There's one in Fort of Reprimand. I believe there's 1 or 2 in Fort of Ensis somewhere, or Castle Ensis.
I do have to say it's actually not Manfly, by the way. It's Ailing Village for the ailment talisman. Manfly is on the way to Jory. No, I guess there's manflies there. You think it's manfly village,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I think this was a question on Zoodle's like GeoGuessr thing
It was.
too,
It
right?
was.
And
We all put Manfly Village, and Zoodle gave it to us. So
Yeah.
in my head, it's sticking as that forever.
But yeah, it looks
I
like
know
both
it's-
are rushing it though.
Yeah. Actually, Blanks is getting the katana, is what it looks like.
Oh yeah.
So
Let's pull up the map here
so
real quick.
Yeah, he's gonna have a setup here. There's a lot of collection things. You don't necessarily need your weapon super early, but I also don't mind just getting it and saying, hey, I'm just gonna be ready for if I need to fight something along the way. I'm not going to have to skip it. Whereas Swed, yeah, just going directly for those talismans. Oh, and falling to his death. That's not great.
Did he miss the talisman?
Yeah, it's that thing where on Torrent, if Torrent is in the slowing down animation, you can't pick anything up. If you're moving,
Oh wow.
but not sprinting, you can pick things up. If you're sprinting, you can't pick things up. If you're slowing down from sprinting, you can't pick things up. There's just a bunch of weird situations where they programmed Torrent to not be able to pick up items. And in this case, he was slowing down and falling off the ledge, so he just was not able to pick up the item before slipping off there.
That's like Sekiro and you having to look at the item to pick it up, which pissed me off so much. I was like learning the speed run, and like Parky was teaching me some things, and there was like that one item pickup, like one of those sugars, and I was like, I'm looking, like I got it. I know it's right here. She's like, you have to look at it. I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why do I have to look at it if I know it's there? But yeah, dude, games have that weird mechanic. It looks like Bellerod being rushed here by Blanks, by the way.
Ooh,
going for that
middle
center square. Going for Queenline. 2 talismans here for Swed now. So yeah, Queenline going to be a thing here for Blanks. Is going to go here into the Bellerod thing. Talisman pick up here from Swed for Blade of Mercy and Scorched Runes. He's going to go for probably the Spell Drake Talisman, which is going to be over here, a little bit beyond that bridge, right under balls, pretty much. And then for the 4th one, he's probably going to grab the Magma one. Would be that little, actually over here, that little hut that you get right before Fort Reprimand. He's probably going to grab that one as his 4th talisman. Going to mark that square for himself.
Yeah, so this will basically get us to a 1-to-1, where Sweat is going to have probably greater map progression because he's going to get to that Fort of Reprimand. But Blank's more online for fighting, and already with that center square, which is a very powerful one. Now, is there any other... there's an Iris as well that he'll have some priority on, having already gotten
also
one of the
unique
Queen
invaders.
Lines.
Because this
also unique invaders,
which is huge. So I think honestly,
Yes.
I think Blanks might be looking to be fair at column 3. DLC talismans will be taking it from V-Sweat here, but if he goes for Queenline and then goes straight into Logar into 2 other invaders, that could be a huge pressure point right away for those 3 squares.
Yeah, for sure. We know, it's not going to set up for the line entirely, but like that's a lot of early squares you can get. There's so much early fighting on this board that, looking back over it, I didn't even necessarily notice. There's a lot of collection, but there's also a lot of fighting. So if Blanks gets the early fighting on board and starts to take out Logar and the NPC invaders, and Ancient Dragon Man and Dryleaf Dane, like that is so many squares that you can get just for very, very easy and very quick kills. That I'm liking Blanks' idea of, well, let's just start fighting. I know there's collection here, which is what everyone goes for to start, but there's so much fighting here that I think it's going to pay off for him, I think.
Yep. That cold katana here for the early game. I think we were talking about this a little bit yesterday, that lightning katana is good for the late game, but early game you want those double statuses just to make up the difference early on here. Already going to be having Queenline going for that flask here. I might actually skip flask. Oh, does not get the skip. But does have some really decent damage here. Should get the center square very early. Maybe a little bit of overhead stance action does actually help versus invaders as well. After that, we'll see. Hopefully he goes for Logar, because that would be a really, really nice play. But Swed already, by the way, at Fort Reprimand now, going to be grabbing that Grace here. Most likely going to be going... He didn't go for the Spell Drake, by the way. Might go for the Flame Drake instead into Magma Talisman. But there is that center square now for Blanks. That's going to be a huge start for him right now.
Yes. So I'm interested to see where Blanks goes next. But yeah, Swed... He definitely, I think he's at 2 of the DLC talismans right now, so he's going to be grabbing his 3rd. So a little bit You know, slower than I necessarily would have expected on this DLC Talismans. I thought he might have gotten it before Blanks was getting the first killing square, but no, absolutely. Queeline was really not that late in, and getting the center square is huge. So now Blanks is going to catch back up in map progression, while Swed is still having to finish this DLC Talismans.
I was honestly expecting Swed to go for that Spell Direct Talisman at Castle Ansis. Oh, that was his 4th talisman. Okay.
So he must have gotten it. We must have missed him grabbing it.
Yeah.
Or no. It's Blade of
Magma.
Mercy, Ailing, Magma, and that one. Yeah, that's it.
And he's going to be grabbing the money here now in Fort Reprimand, the 80k. Blocking that column 3 already is going to be really nice for him. But yeah, no weapon currently on board. Going to be grabbing that DLC Spirit Ash though. Mesmer Soldiers going to be working towards that, as that is also on road 2. So that might be something that he's looking at. Because he can get the Kindred cookbooks here actually quite quickly now. He has the one near the Forge and then the one on the Church District. He could go for those and kind of push that road 2 potentially. That would be really interesting.
Ooh, yeah. If he got both the DLC Spirit Ashes and the Kindred cookbooks, that would be some decent pressure. It's not that easy to clear 2 Catacombs or to Memory of Grace with 300k runes right away.
Yeah.
Both ones that players, I think, would avoid trying to do early. But if you force your opponent into, let's say, they have to Memory of Grace with 300,000 runes early, that puts them at a severe disadvantage for a lot of the fights. So could be good to just sort of force that out if he can. But we'll see what Blanks goes for, because if both of them go for the Spirit Ashes and the Kindred cookbooks, I expect it'll be a split. I don't think Swed can get both of them before Blanks can catch up, but we will see, because they are quick squares.
Yeah. No, very, very quick squares. And you can kind of lean into shields with that as well if you're going to go all the way around for those cookbooks into Shadowkeep, grabbing the dueling thrusting shield and the carrion thrusting shield. I think those are going to be that's going to be a really nice map progression from Swed here, but also grabbing all of those, as you said, collection squares on the way of getting that map progression. I think this would be really, really useful. Because as we see right now, Blanks is currently not even at Fort Reprimand, going to have to make his way there, while Swed's already in Skidoo Alta. Is going to be at Highland Cross here in just a moment.
Yeah, and he could go into Castle Ensis from the backside. There's Verdigris Discus, there's Moonrathil, and there's a DLC shield all there. So a lot of stuff that you can get from getting in there quickly, if that is what VSwed decides to do. I think those ones might be ones worth going for, but it will not make progression towards that line, that row 2, as we said. So he's got some options. He could go sort of either way here, but he is pivoting out here and teleporting back. So,
okay, I think he's grabbing the Great Katana here.
It looks like it's got to be the Great Katana.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. So he'll finally get on board, and Blanks is going to catch up in map, and we're basically going to be all tied up here as we enter into the, early mid-game here of this. It looks like they're both just going to be all set up with all their map progression.
Yeah, so now the upgrade here from Swed. Now the question is, I'm surprised Logar is still on the board. I was really expecting Blanks to go for Logar, but I think for him right now the priority is map progression, like we've talked about before. Getting more presence on the board. And I think if you constantly showcase, okay, Queeline and Ballarat, Logar, NPC invaders, you're showcasing that you haven't progressed into Skidoo Altus, and that's giving your opponent too much information and being like, okay, you haven't gotten to Shadowkeep yet, you haven't gotten to these other regions at all, so that means I have a bunch of priority. Now I can play around with all of these other squares that you're kind of just leaving open for me. So I kind of understand that not rushing Logar here is probably the better choice, and getting some map progression first and then going back for Logar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly the safer choice, just because you don't want your opponent to be setting up for a line on you. Because, right, if Blanks had gone, let's say he'd gone immediately Logar, and then immediately Ancient Dragon Man and Unique Invaders, something like that. A probably ridiculous order to do things in, but if he had, then Swed could have gotten the DLC Spirit Ashes in the meantime and the Kindred cookbooks in the meantime, and then forced Blanks into defending that row 2. So I think just getting that bit of map progression and saying, hey, if I have to contest things, if I have to block a line, I'm much more set up for that. It is a smart play, even though he probably could be 1 or 2 squares in the lead right now if he had just been rushing things.
And here we have Dane, by the way, for Sweat. Now going to go for that Dryleaf Dane and the dual thing. Going to be nullifying that center square a little bit more versus Blanks. Which I think is a really good idea here. Going to be blocking out that row 3 now. And that's going to also just be really nice just in case he gets Catacombs. I'm not going to lie. I think if he goes for Catacombs, at least one of them, and gets Kindred Cookbooks and then goes into Catacombs, kind of activating that row 2, but also column 2, I think that would be not the worst idea. Or just rushing Chief Bloodfiend, but in any way, grabbing a diagonal block while also progressing would be just overall, I think, like a really nice position for Sweat here.
Yeah. Also, if he did get Catacombs and Chief Bloodfiend, I mean, look at the other 2 squares on that line. They are gross. They are so late game, and forcing your opponent to know that they have to get to one of those before you is a lot of pressure to put on. So yeah, that could be a great play. Catacombs themselves are a little slow. You know, you might lose out on some other important squares in the meantime. But that line would be very, very powerful if Swed can set up for it. Also blocking one of the diagonals, really taking away the bite from that middle square. If he's already blocked the row of it, he's already blocked the column of it. If he just blocks the 2 diagonals, like, what was that center square even for? Why did you rush Queeline if, you know, it doesn't really lead to any lines or threats or anything like that?
We have Ancient Dragon Man here now for Blanks. Going to be grabbing that column 1, row 3 square. Going to be activating a little bit of that coast access that he needs. Not a lot of coast access really needed, I feel like, for this board. Besides, I guess there is dragon bosses as well on that diagonal. So maybe he is looking at that top left to bottom right diagonal. That could be really interesting. With that Catacombs as well. So the Catacombs actually might be a bit of a contested square later on, maybe like 10, 15, 20 minutes from now. Catacombs might be looked at from both players with either Sweat trying to push his own line or that diagonal being pushed by Blanks. But we're going to see Vertigo's Discus now, I feel like, from Swed or Moonrathil. Oh, yeah.
Looks like he's turning towards the Moonrathil and the DLC Shield. He definitely kind of has his pick here of which order he wants to do these things in. Doing the safer version of the skip, I really like this, because the version where you land on top of the tiny little pillar is so tough. So
it's a little scary,
yeah.
I think he's going for Moonrathil here first, then he'll go for the shield right afterwards. That's going to actually also, you know, have Blanks know, okay, I don't have any priority on shields right now because he got Moonrathil. So he might have to lean into something else right afterwards. I'm telling you right now, I think Catacombs / Chief Bloodfiend, either of those would be really nice corner squares at this point. There is Ancient Dragon Man though for Blanks. That's huge.
Yeah, that is huge. Having access to the southern region, which, as we mentioned, doesn't have too much down there. There is Egon's Furled Finger, there is dragon bosses, but there's like very late game, you know, Count Ymir and Jolan and Anna, but like, yeah, as far as early game, not something you necessarily needed, and not something that's necessarily going to help you block the threats that Swed is basically setting up here.
There we go, though. Moonrathil down for Swed. Going to be grabbing that bottom corner square, blocking that first diagonal that we're talking about. That is huge for Swed here. Getting rid of that one threat that I said kind of maybe could be a little scary here. Now, obviously, the other diagonal could be also a little bit tricky, but grabbing those shields right now could be activating that column 5 here for Swed, too. That if he gets Kindred Cookbooks online, then it's just Masks and Ymir.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Man, there is just so many threats that are just popping up everywhere. It feels like almost any line that we look at is like, oh, this is a threat. Oh, this is another threat. Oh my God, this is another threat. So you know, I don't know how this is going to shake out. It feels like either player at any time could set up a nearly insurmountable lead just by getting a few of these easy early squares and forcing their opponent into some late ones. So man, I don't know where this is gonna head to, but either way, it's gonna be exciting.
And this is exactly what I was talking about here. Blanks going from that Chief Bloodfiend. Those two corner squares, man. Chief Bloodfiend looking like going to be on Blanks' menu as he's currently going through Elak River. Swed here now, I think, going for cookbooks. So this is going to be, again, two really strong pickups for both players. That row 2 and column 5 going to activate for Sweat if he does get the cookbooks. And for Blanks here, if he gets that corner square now, that Chief Bloodfiend, that's going to be activating the bottom left to top right. And honestly, I don't think that that is something very easy to block once you've got Shadowkeep access, because that's really what you're going to need here for Fire Knight Hilda, most likely, for the masks, and for the Crucible Incantations, because you have to get the Ancient Route for that. So I think map progression here is going to be really huge once he gets Chief Bloodfiend. If anything, he could actually grab the Grace, port to make sure he's got Shadowkeep access first, and then kills Chief Bloodfiend, and then be like, hey, I already have Shadowkeep. Let me just bulldoze this now, because he's going to assume that I don't have that access yet. Because all Blanks has marked so far is Queeline and Bellerot and Ancient Dragon Man. He hasn't shown any Skidoo Altus priority at all.
Yeah, that is very true. I think that DLC Spirit Ashes is going to be a very, very important square, because it's in, as you mentioned, the diagonal from Blanks. It's in row 2 from Swed. So if one player can get that, they're setting up for huge threats there. Because if Swed has the 2 Kindred cookbooks, right, he's setting up for multiple lines, and DLC Spirit Ashes would like really solidify that row 2. Whereas if Blanks can get it, completely diffuse row 2 and set Blanks up for the diagonal, where all he has to get is the Death Mask Helm, and then he would fully block Swed on Swed's column 5 as well. So it could definitely turn into like lines for lines, blocking, making new threats, blocking. Like this is a very exciting board for so many lines and just like everywhere. Like I genuinely cannot pick where I think that they'll end up, because they could just pivot like, oh, this line, oh, it got blocked. Okay, this line, oh, it got blocked. And wow. But here we go into Chief Bloodfiend. Sometimes an annoying fight, but usually not too tough of one.
There is cookbooks, by the way, for Swed now.
Swed got cookbooks.
That's huge.
There it is. Yep. 2 square lead for Swed, but Blanks is going to get 1 back right here with Chief Bloodfiend in just a second.
He's got to be careful. He's going to be blood procced here in just a moment, and he does die.
Oh, no.
That sorcerer outside cast that that AoE blood procking spell. It's like a what would you call it? Like a Bluetooth knee heal, right? Where it's not right in front of him, but like actually just in a different location. Yeah, it's really annoying. Sometimes quitting out here actually at the door is better, so you don't have to deal with that attack in the middle of the fight. Especially with such an early Chief Bloodfiend. Like this is like almost no Skidoo, almost no levels, right? This is one of his first fights currently.
Yeah. I was surprised he was even getting the blood buildup even during the riposte animation from Chief Bloodfiend doing the like spitting on him. It causes you to keep getting that blood buildup even through riposte, which is, you know, a little unfair. Come on, FromSoft. But yeah, this time playing it a lot better, a lot safer, and not having that outside influence should make this a lot easier.
Yeah, we're already over halfway here now, going for that another riposte. So should be getting a bleed proc here very soon. And just like with Moog, by the way, when you bleed proc Bloodfiend, he does get that attack buff.
Yeah.
But looks like that he doesn't get the riposte, weirdly enough, even though he was like right in front of him. Oh! Almost gets chicken winged here. There it is, that last hit.
Heal,
that
heal,
bleed.
heal.
Oh, he does not die, though.
That?
Okay.
I thought he was going to die for sure.
There it is, that Chief Bloodfiend. And here's a good thing with Chief Bloodfiend, by the way, is you do get that Spirit Ash, by the way. The Hexer is Spirit Ash. Works again into that diagonal that we're talking about.
Yeah, if Blanks can get that DLC Spirit Ash, that is a great spot to be in, although Swed does now have that back access to Shadowkeep. So Swed would be able to block that diagonal, but forcing Swed to block it, I think, would still be a great play. Swed, with back access, if he gets DLC shields, which he is very, very likely to at this point, I don't think there's any way Blanks can contest, and then also gets the death masks, Blanks would have to block with Count Ymir.
Yep.
That is horrible for Blanks.
Yep.
That could be like game-endingly horrible if Swed goes for those 2 and is uncontested and gets them both. That could be game over, because either Blanks has to block, or Swed can just slowly work his way there over time and eventually win with it.
And again, keeping in mind that like having a priority on a line like that is huge because Blanks can't really push majority or win by majority until he blocks every single line. So having a long distance line like that you have to block in order to win by majority is a bit of a pain. And you at some point you're just like, okay, I have to deal with this now because either first Swed's going for it or Swed's going for majority and I can't stop him until I block this line, which is a huge thing here. Swed now going to go for back access here first, the back section Grace, grabbing that Skidoo fragment. There's Loger now for Blanks. And honestly, this could be a weird thing of both players maybe trying to push out that Emir out of each other. Because now Iris of Grace and Dragon Bosses, Blanks is priority on Dragon Bosses because of Ancient Dragon Man.
That's true.
That
and
row
he's
4.
Got a little bit of priority on Iris of Occultation because he's got one Queel line, but he also doesn't have back access to Shadow Keep yet. So if he does get back access and push for those, what if we see both of them having 4 of the squares that end in Count Ymir, and it's just a hard race, whoever wins finishes a line? That would be a very interesting scenario.
That's his second Spirit
Blanks
Dash,
could
too.
get the dragons and could get the Iris of Occultation in the time that Swed is getting the death masks and the DLC shields.
Yeah, I think Blank's going for a bit of a split bingo line here as he just picked up his second DLC Spirit Dash. So he's kind of like working towards the diagonal and maybe also row 4 because he picked up Iris of Grey or Iris of Occultation. So he's kind of doing both here. But I don't know if he's going to have enough time. As soon as Swed marks DLC shields here, I think Blanks is going to be like, okay, I can't double dip. I have to either pick a line or block because you don't have enough time to do 2 lines.
Yeah, and I don't know that he's going to have time to block the death masks if Swed goes directly for it. Like, I mean, I don't know if Swed will. It would be, I think, a great play, but there's always setting up for multiple things at once. But if Swed bulldozes this line and just says, I don't think you have back access yet, I think I've seen you do enough things non-back access that I'm just gonna go straight for it. I don't know how Blanks can stop that.
Yeah, that's the one thing is that even though he's pushing that diagonal right now with incantation is going to be going to kill that hippo here and going to get Spirit Ashes very soon as well. He doesn't have access to the good old Wego mask that Swed does have. Okay, I thought he actually just missed the elevator, but okay, never mind. I was like, what the hell was that? How did you miss it by that much? He's actually going for the thrusting shield here first. Really interesting parkour.
Yes. Yeah,
Right
I don't know
here?
that I've seen
Wow.
this before. Ah.
Very nice. There it is. There's that column 5 now. See, and now he's like, oh, God, he already has Shadow Keep back access. He's going to have access to masks now. That's also going to block his diagonal, by the way.
Yeah, blocks the diagonal, sets up for this really, really tough line. Swed is in a, I would say, commanding spot right now if he just pushes for that.
Mitch, we missed it. The DLC
What did we miss?
before the DLC shields was a Wendy's 4-for-4, and now it's 5-4. I missed it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. We got to restart. Let the players know. We got to restart.
Yeah. We got to restart.
Yeah, get us a new board.
Yeah.
Hippo here though for Blanks. And yeah, I think Swed right now, if he does just push masks, I think that would be his best bet. And I think he is. I think he's making his way towards Mesmer here. Going
like
for that Winged Serpent helm. Yep.
Yeah. This is very interesting. This is one that maybe doesn't look quite as scary at the moment, but I think if that square gets marked, like it's going to be a really do or die situation for Blanks. Put on the back foot, behind by currently 1 square. Soon I think to be 2, because I don't think Blanks is going to get another square super quickly. He's kind of setting up to eventually get squares, but not getting one at this exact moment.
Yeah, this is a very strong pressure point here for Swed, especially showing DLC shields. I think Blanks has to know. Memory of Grace here from Blanks for 300k, by the way. Blocking that row 2 now.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
Blanks
now-
is looking at column 1?
Could be.
He's
Oh,
like-
that could be interesting. Say, hey, you're trying to set up for your column? Well, I'm just going to set up for my column, and I think I can do it faster. That
think
could
he
be an
can.
interesting play. Yeah.
I think he can't, because like if you okay, well I don't know actually. Tends to do Iris of Occultation and both incantations or masks, which Sweat is already doing into Emir.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like actually Sweat's line is faster because he already has one mask now too.
I think if Swed fully went for Ymir, it might be slower. I'm not entirely sure. It'd be somewhere close, but I think Swed would have time to grab masks and then beat blanks to one of those three. Maybe Skidoo level 10. It seems like he could probably just go like Gaius.
Yep.
And then if he's got his line set up and block Blanks' line, that's where it gets really scary. If they full on race for it, I think Blanks could win. The level 10 Skidoo is kind of slow, but not overly slow. Both aspects of the Crucible incantations, he's already got one. The other one is not. It's really not that far into Rau. He could definitely get that one quickly. The Iris of Occultation he could get quickly. So yeah, it's gonna come down to that. What I might be expecting to see is both of them set up 4 of their own and then block the opponent. So we might see that Swed sets up 4 of his own, then goes to block with 10 Skidoo, and we might see Blanks get the Iris and the aspects of the Crucible, and then switch over to blocking Count Ymir.
We have Sweat here now making his way towards Salsa. Could work towards those incantations. And I think looks like Blanks actually might be going for that skip, by the way, to get to that Gaius side a little bit quicker. Going to be going for this here, Skidoo Fragment, and then starts going backwards. Going to go for that skip. And then going to be accessing the Gaius ladder from the back section. Oh, let's be careful here, though. This is a little scary. I'm not gonna lie. It's very slippery.
It is very slippery. Yeah, we do this in like all sorts of DLC speedruns as well. I don't like the way that Blanks is just like running up it. That doesn't work for me. I do a little jump to get on the spot, but he's got it here.
Nice.
So nice. He can make
go.
his way up.
Jump across. There we go. Nice. Okay. Salsa here now going to be on Swed's screen. Going to be second helmet, by the way. And then, honestly, I don't know. I'm not going to lie, man. I think Ymir, like, it feels long, but it really, especially because he already has Oh Mother, I don't think it's going to take that long. It's the finger runes is the longest part. After that, you're kind of booking it.
Yeah.
Salsa does not go for the drop this time around for Swed. And here is the elevator now. Not elevator, but the what the hell do you call this contraption?
The lever?
Yeah, I guess like, but I meant the centerpiece moving. Like, is that like I don't know, revolving staircase? I guess.
Yeah, it's not really a staircase, but yeah,
There's steps right there. Look at that. Those steps.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Huge
that's fair,
steps,
that's
but yeah, this is going to be interesting because for Blanks now, I wonder what the thought process is. He is near Mesmer now. At this point, maybe he is looking still at helmets. It looks like he is.
Swed, going for the gravity kill. He gets it. So if they're fighting for helmets, Swed definitely wins this fight. He's already got the water drained. Blanks actually can't even get the water drained because he hasn't had back access yet. So yeah, this is looking great for Swed. When he gets this one away, it is actually going to be okay. It's a game of chicken for Count Ymir.
Yep.
If one of them rushes it, it's going to take them a lot of time. But if Swed rushes it and Blanks doesn't, he wins. And if Blanks rushes it and Swed doesn't, then Swed gets to get a bunch of stuff throughout the map. So either way, it's going to be a big advantage for Swed.
I don't think there's really much of a reason to go for Mesmer here, by the way. So this is kind of a time sink for Blanks because there isn't any Edir Limb, and there isn't like any incants to pick up either. The Skidoo Fragment, sure, but it's not really worth your time as much as if you had another reason to be here. And he already did the Memory of Grace, so that's out the window too.
Yeah, he definitely just grabs the Skidoo and is heading out of there, which makes sense that you'd want to at least get that. And yeah, he's gonna get back access now, doing the little skip, but that's not gonna get him draining the water very quick. So he really still cannot contest the mask here, but he will at least have access to Gaius, so that with Gaius he can then. Oh, he misses the skip.
Wow, he still quit out in time. I thought that was going to be a gravity death. That was really close.
That looked like a death for sure, but he got it.
Imagine he like iframed the or perfect framed the death, and then you have to like quit out your whole game. I hate when that happens.
Oh, he's warping away now as well. It looks like he decided, okay, I can't quite do this, but
okay, he's going for the Emir block, I think, or at the very least prepping for it.
Yeah, I mean he kind of has to, right? He is in a bad spot, and you can kind of see it on his face. He looks stressed out for what's happening here, because it's a very stressful thing, because if Swed goes right for Ymir, like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You gotta go get it.
Okay, Swed working a little bit towards Spirit Ashes here. Oh, gets blasted by Wrath from afar. Has to quit out here.
Yep.
But yeah, looks like that Blanks is going to be setting up for Emir now. He's so far behind. Swed could honestly do Emir and probably win because he already has O Mother. So this is a kind of a crazy thing of Swed not fulfilling his line, but honestly, it's not the worst idea either, because it does take a hot minute to even do that square. So this might be giving Swed enough time to block out all the other bingos that Blanks has currently set up. This is a really, really strong play from Swed. Very, very strong.
Yes, very, very strong. Like,
wow,
it's just such a good plan that he had, or maybe fell into. Sometimes players don't always go immediately for lines, but it just kind of like, oh, the early squares that I got happened to make a perfect line.
Right.
But either way, whether it was planned from the start or whether he fell into it, like, this is such a strong position to be in. And so, if I was Blanks, I almost might call the bluff and just say, well, I'm going to go for my line in column 1 instead, force you to pivot off, to block me, to give me time to pivot off and block you, right? If he goes for Iris of Occultation and Aspect of the Crucible Talismans right away, he just does those two, then starts heading for Ymir. Maybe that buys him the time, and maybe that scares Swed off of going directly for it.
This is really interesting, because like also from Swed in this case, he has so much time now. Him getting level 10 Skidoo here is going to block out that bingo, but also going to promote that row 1. And on top of that, make all these fights insanely easy. So he can do dragon bosses quicker. He can do Rellana quicker. He can do the catacombs, all that other stuff. I think this is just... I feel like for Swed, he can't go wrong. Either he goes for his line and he wins by bingo, or he just goes and he does other squares. Either choice, I feel like at this point right now, is a good choice.
Oh, he's not even grabbing that grace there. He's just saying, hey, let me go straight for Ymir. I think I've got this. I don't think he has gotten the whole laden necklace yet, has he?
Swed? I don't think he has.
So yeah, he'll need to go back for that. Hopefully we don't see a situation where he forgets about it, doesn't grab any graces along the way. We've seen that before in a match, but nope, he's pivoting out.
Yeah, wait. Okay, maybe he actually does have it. I think I did see the grace at Manus Matir.
Okay.
But the question here is, why did he not grab the other grace? Because Skidoo 10. I think like that's kind of interesting too. Going for NPC invaders here, maybe? And also, look at, like, this is what we're talking about, right? With, like, easy squares, Verdigris Discus still on the board. It's been almost 35 minutes. An easy Verdigris Discus pickup, and no one goes for it because these lines are getting too scary.
Yeah. And, yeah, Blank's getting the whole laden necklace. It looks like he is saying, hey, I recognize this is too scary. I have to go block it, which, then means if Swed is going for... Oh, he might be going for Iris of Occultation by doing Queeline here. Which, if he does, that blocks both of Blanks' big threat lines. That blocks column 1 and that blocks row 4. If Swed steals away Iris of Occultation, maybe Swed says, hey, I don't even need this line. I'm just going to win on majority now that I've blocked your lines.
Right.
And, yeah, that's a great play as well. Blank's barely hitting the skip this time, but he's got it.
That's a great idea here from Swed for sure. He's going to get the Queeline kill here and go straight for more as a second invader as well while getting Skidoo fragments. Skips the flask here, by the way, which is huge. Do not port. Go for more. Go for invaders. Damn it. Okay, it goes for
I,
free
I don't
path
think
cross.
this is necessarily a bad play. Getting the Iris of Occultation is a very, very important block here, and if he does get it, he takes that pressure off from Blanks potentially sort of counter bingoing him. So I think the pure rush here I think makes sense. Sweat is already 1 square ahead, forces Blanks into a slow square. Like if he just blocks Blanks' potential bingo opportunities, I think Sweat is still in an amazing spot. So I personally like this rush of the Iris, even though he could have finished off NPCs very quickly. The other thing is, if he did unique NPC invaders right away, he'd take some of the pressure off of Blanks, because Blanks would know, oh, wait, he wasn't rushing Ymir? Oh,
Right.
okay, cool. I've got a little more time. So by instead going for the Iris of Occultation and nothing in the meantime, he doesn't give Blanks that opportunity to rest, to pivot, to go somewhere else. He is keeping that pressure on Blanks the whole time.
Yeah, I think you're right. He is rushing that Iris of Occultation because he is in Bellerot now. There really isn't much in Bellerot besides that Iris. And here's the really interesting thing then is he could just hold on to it too. Because at this point, he can kind of assume, like, hey, I think Blanks is prepping. It's been 12 minutes since Blanks has marked anything. So most likely, he is going for Ymir at this point. I think that assumption is fair for 12 minutes, being like, okay, he's probably going for Ymir at this point. Let me go ahead and go and start prepping all of these blocks. And as soon as he blocks Ymir, boom, 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 I'm taking all of these squares away from you. And you have nothing else to progress into. And I think that's going to be a huge play then in that case. Because, trying to just, like, be in the same square lead as Swed, because it's 6-5 right now for Swed, having such a long-distance block just to be at the same score is not going to work out well for Blanks in this case.
Yeah, Blanks does have some slight synergy there of Jolan and Anna, but, I mean, even then, that's not that much compensation for just how long it takes to kill Metter and then Ymir and then Jolan and Anna. Like it is so much time that's going to put him very far behind. Now, Blanks could say, well, I still think I can win on majority because I just think I'm faster than you. He might just say, I just think that, I've got the raw speed, but that's pretty much going to be his only compensation is just saying, hey, if he can get the blocks, maybe he's got that raw speed going, because otherwise Sweat is definitely in a good position here, and will probably have a 2, 3, maybe even 4 square lead by the time that Blanks fully blocks, I think.
Right. So Iris of Occultation, possible block here, going to be blocking out that column 1 and that row 4. Another flask skip, by the way, from Sweat as well. Gets that prayer room key and that flame skewer Ash of War. Going to be quitting out here, and then probably going straight for that Iris of Occultation would be my guess. And then he can go for Verticus Discus. He can go for NPC Invaders. He can go for all of this easier stuff. And Blanks, probably gets one of the Finger Ruins, and then maybe starts to pivot. Because he's like,
I mean, it's a scary prospect. He probably maybe should or could do that, but it is a scary prospect. Leaving your opponent with 4 squares to a bingo and not immediately blocking it, it could come to bite you later. Even if you pivot off and get a few quick squares now, if you're then forced to do it later, you can't respond to what your opponent is doing very well. So, either way, Blanks is in a tough spot, but okay, there's the Iris.
He's rushing Iris, 100%.
Yep.
But this is also, dude, this is exactly what we're talking about since week 1 when it came to, like, players joining into bingo and being like, some people have that, like, execution on fights but don't have that bingo knowledge. Swed right now is showcasing his bingo knowledge that he's learned over the last, like, 5 weeks. Like, this is exactly what I wanted to see, is this insane swap of, like, hey, I've got good execution, but I have no idea how bingo boards work, into now I'm doing both. I have huge execution, and I'm reading the board correctly. I'm making correct pressure points. I'm blocking. I'm using my priority. This is everything that bingo is, and I think this is a great showcase for Swed and his skill, and showing that he can hang out with the big boys.
Oh yeah, I think this is the strongest game that Swed has played, possibly by far, and he's had a lot of great games, but like this one, I feel like he's doing everything right. Absolutely everything right, start to finish. Great decision making, great execution. Like, it has been so amazing up to this point, and you know it could even keep getting better from here because Sweat has there's a long way to go. If Blanks does get this block, we do still have, you know, quite a game ahead of us, but yeah, this is pretty much going to force it into majority if both of these players get the square that they're going for right now. Sweat is about to get Iris of Occultation. That's going to block off almost all of Blanks' remaining possible bingos.
Yep.
And if Blanks then gets Count Ymir in return, which will be a little while, then he's blocked off almost all of Swed's lines as well.
Yeah, and Blank sees that now. Iris of Occultation being marked and blocking out that column 1 and row 4. That was a huge, huge block. He got rid of every single bingo besides column 4, which no one has squares in right now. So everything else right now, Sweat has no pressure on him. He has a huge pressure point himself, and everything else that Blanks has worked on is pretty much out the window. Sweat currently has a 2-square lead, has board pressure, and has blocked everything else besides column 4. Like, he's currently in the driver's seat.
Oh, looks like Blanks then may be pivoting away, saying, okay, I know you don't have Count Ymir right now, so I need to go finish off, you know, some of these easier squares in the meantime, and basically only go for Count Ymir if I see Swed, you know, not mark anything for a while, which is a great play, but is also super risky. Because, you know, at any time, if Swed just decides, I'm going to sneak Ymir while, you know, pretending that I'm getting other squares, you know, you're in that bingo threat.
Yeah, and here it is, Iris of Grace here from Blanks for that Jelena and Anna summon square, but also making his way towards, I think, finishing incantations here to block out that column, that row 5 for Swed, and just getting to finish that square so it doesn't like have a huge waste of time, since he did go for that hippo kill already. And this also progresses Skidoo level a little bit more, because there are some Skidoo fragments in Ancient Rao. Speaking of, we can go ahead and check out. Oh wait, hold on. If Swed does not go to Rellana, I'll do the map. But if he does go Rellana, he is leveling. I will showcase the fight first. Okay, he's going Rellana. Let's do the fight first.
What is this? Oh, there is Kill Rellana.
Yeah.
Top middle. I missed
Row
it.
1.
Yeah. Oh, that's, another easy, quick square for Swed.
Let's hope that he has a really decent Rellana fight. Looking really good right now. Frost proc already. Should get a stagger here pretty soon. Maybe a 2 jumping R2s.
She's got a lot of poise, so it might be a little while longer if
like
you can't
120?
get some of those big ones.
I think it's 120,
I'm
right?
not exactly sure. I think so.
I think most bosses have 120 besides Romina and Midra. They're 80. And then Hippo's also 80. They're a huge bleed, too. So this is going to be a phase 2, most likely. Going for that charged R2. Poise build up. There it is. Going for another charged R2. Has to be careful here. Make sure to read the sword. Does not get the... Okay, takes the knockback.
Okay.
Just got to be careful.
Careful.
Getting a little greedy with those heals. Okay, he does get that off, though. Should be getting a stagger here soon. There it is.
Oh wow.
Into a frost proc. Should be getting the balls attack here very soon. He's at that health threshold where Rellana should backstep here into the balls attack. There it is.
Yep.
And just has to make sure that he does get these jumps right. Jump forward if you can. Goes for the jumping R2. Very nice
Beautiful.
Here. Oh my god, what a nice fight.
And the DLC Spirit Ashes from Blanks, Rellana from Swed, they both kind of know that each other have not gone directly for Count Ymir, so now it's kind of a game of chicken.
Yep.
Swed in the 2-square lead at the moment, but you know, it's not over yet. It is pretty well forced into majority at this point.
Okay, looks like Sweat is looking at Skidoo levels here now, possibly going for Gaius.
Yeah, having to go back to that Grace that we mentioned that he skipped earlier. I think, you know, he originally had a plan where he was going to rush something, but now realizing, okay, no, actually it's a little bit better if I just get some of these levels. And yeah, that's going to be a good play. I don't know how close he is to 10 Skidoo at the moment. Do we get to see here? No, he's probably not going to go into his blessings menu.
All right.
But I can't imagine he's too close. I imagine even after Gaius, he'll have to get a few more.
Yeah, and that's a good thing here. I think Swed going for Skidoo level is going to take a while, and that might make Blanks think that he's actually going for Emir. So he might pivot back again.
That's a good point.
So this is actually a really good square choice here for Swed, and then possibly pushing that row 1 a little bit more.
Yeah, Blanks is about to get the second aspect of the Crucible incantation here, so it'll be 8 to 7. It'll be getting a little bit closer. There it is.
Yeah. Which is fine, right? This is good news for Swed more than anything else. This is good news. Swed working towards Skidoo
it's
fragments.
good news for both of them because, you know, for Blanks, you're saying, okay, I'm catching up a little bit. I'm not too far behind.
Right.
You know, I maybe have time to get Count Ymir without getting, you know, 3 squares behind. Maybe I'm only going to be 1 or 2 squares behind when I get it, which, you know, for how much of a disaster it felt like as soon as we saw those 4 squares, it's feeling a little bit closer now. It's definitely feeling like Swed has a great lead, but it's not feeling as insurmountable as it did, you know, just 10 minutes ago. It felt like, oh my gosh, this game is almost over. But no, you know, Blanks is fighting his way back in. Swed is still doing a great job of keeping the lead, but not too much is changing. It's not tipping into the, like, oh, game is over at this point.
And Blanks here finishing what seems to be possibly the Finger Runes quest line as he is at the other Finger Runes, while Swed is doing now, you know, Gaia still. I think this is just really good though for Swed. It gives him enough time to prep so many squares to be able to like have priority everywhere, whereas Blanks still has to really commit to this block.
Yeah. And yeah, it is actually not taking all that long. This is Blanks' second Finger Ruins, so all he has to do at this point is just actually kill Metter, and kill Count Ymir, and then he's set up for Jolan and Anna, and you know that's 2, I wouldn't say quick squares, but that's 2 reasonable length squares that can actually get him back into a fighting chance here.
Very nice fight from Swed. By the way, going to be grabbing those Skidoo fragments here. I'm not sure how many more he needs. He has grabbed a couple of church fragments already as well. There it is, though. Blank's going to be finishing the Ymir quest line, going to be doing all the dialogue. I think he's going to be fully finishing Ymir. So he also has priority on Jolan and Anna, by the way. So once he does get that block, he has that priority on Jolan and Anna. I can hold on to that while going for other squares afterwards. So right now for Swed, he needs to start pushing all of the, like, other stuff that needs prep, and he has to go kill Ancient Dragon Man very soon here because he has no access to Egon's Furled Finger or the Dragon bosses, and I think those are going to be critical points here for sure.
Yeah, that is for sure. And we don't see him get the level 10 Skidoo just yet, so I assume he's got a few more to go. He probably has the calculation in his mind, and heading through Rau is probably going to be to pick up those final 2 or 3 or however many he needs, because there are ones just immediately along the way as you go through Rau. So I expect he'll be finishing that up. I'd love to see Verdigris Discus next from him, because that's another super quick one that is still on the board.
Oh, by the way, NPC, dude, this is what I was talking about. NPC Invaders still on the board, and now we have the Anna Invader.
Yes.
That's
is that going to be
crazy.
Blanks' third?
He did do Queeline.
Queeline.
He hasn't done anything else besides Queeline, I think.
He's done Ancient Dragon Man boss. Did he do the Invader along the way, or did he skip it?
I don't think he did the Ancient Dragon Man Invader.
Okay, I think you're right.
So this is still crazy, though, using Anna as one of the invaders. This is exactly what I meant. It's kind of cool having it be on the board for as long as possible because of lines that pressure too much.
Yeah. And is there then the Invader does Jolan invade after, or?
Jolan does invade after, but Jolan does not count until you kill Ymir. Because she can respawn.
That's true, but if he kills Ymir, then it'll be an immediate 2 squares.
It'll be an immediate 2 squares.
It'll get the unique NPC invaders and Ymir, and then he'll get Jolan and Anna. That am I just seeing things, or would that actually put Blanks in the square lead towards majority?
That would put him in the lead here. Swed going for the tree skip here for Verdigris Discus now. Going to be grabbing Verdigris Discus skip-wise and Skidoo fragments. Meteor Mother Fingers now on the screen here for Blanks, though.
Yes, but yeah, I mean, he's now set up there.
Oh, piano hands.
Metter, not. I hate the piano hands. Somehow he avoided it.
His
Come on,
Skidoo level
yep,
has
heal.
to be really low. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I hate. Oh, this is
The
a
hitbox on that one is ridiculous.
crazy. Yeah.
He's in
Gets
route
the
right
frost
now,
proc.
setting up Letta
Yeah,
and
almost a
Skidoo.
good thing for him that he lost his stagger progress because he had to heal so much. Because now he should get a stagger at a good time right as she's about to transition. Get her a lot of damage into that phase 2.
Yeah,
Nice
should get
bleed proc.
Oh, stagger here soon. Swed did grab Vertigo's Discus here, leveled some Skidoo, going to be going all the way to Romina because that row 1 again, Piano Hands, that run 1 again, led on her companions. So having access to Romina would be really nice on that row
Ooh.
1.
Yeah, if he gets level 10 Skidoo and then he rushes Perfumed Oil of Rana, he's basically setting Blanks up for yet another, hey, are you going to race me to this late game square of kill Leda and her companions?
Yeah, he's making Blanks waste so much time just trying to put out these fires. This is the exact same Swed that we saw yesterday versus Parky, where he just kept on pointing out these other lines like, oh, you blocked that? How about this one? You blocked that? How about that one? What are you going to do now? And I think that's that's been a really strong strat for Swed in Bingo lately, is like not pushing his own lines, but really forcing these priorities and being like, hey, what are you going to do about all these issues that I'm causing on the board?
All right, Blanks in a bit of trouble. Scary. Yeah. He's been getting some very scary attacks. He's low on heals, but he's fine for this very moment.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I say that.
He's got no flasks. Okay, never mind. He's holding
one
on to that
left,
last
one
one.
left. He's holding. He's now used it. No flask left. Okay, that's a good attack
should
to
be
see.
fine.
Let's him get back in.
How much damage is this though? Oh, he's got the
Not a lot,
laser.
not a lot. Not the
He
laser.
might die. He's gonna die. He's gonna die. Oh, he doesn't die.
He's alive. He's barely
Oh my
alive.
god.
Oh, that is. He has to just play it perfectly from here.
That is like 2 charged R2s left at the very least. I don't think he has enough time to. He can't greed this. He can't greed this. Don't greed it.
No, he.
Don't greed it. Oh, that's bad.
Oh,
He's
that's
dead.
so bad.
Oh
yeah.
my lord, that was unfortunate RNG, dude.
How do you dodge that? Yeah, that sucks.
You have to run away and then strafe jump roll. It's really dumb. The triple laser in phase 2 is disgusting.
And Swed now getting 10 Skidoo.
There it is.
I'd love to see him pivot off to Perfumed Oil of Rana. Would put on so much pressure. Although he doesn't have access actually to the southern. He's going.
Elac River. He doesn't have to do Ancient Dragon Man.
That's true. That's true. I expect he probably will, though, because he wants access eventually to Egons and Dragon bosses. So if Blanks doesn't recognize this, re-pivot off and get Perfumed Oil of Rana first, yeah, that's another huge threat for Swed.
And again, this is only showcasing level 10 Skidoo. This doesn't tell Blanks if he's been working on Emir or not. All he knows is that he grabs some stuff.
It pretty well tells you it would be very hard to get level 10 Skidoo while working on Ymir, but it is technically possible. Oh no, Blank's dying again. That is so rough. If he just had 1 or 2 more Skidoo, he'd be fine there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Swed grabbing the Gravebird armor, even though it's not on the board. He's playing for his next match already in the future.
Yes.
Just making sure he's grabbed that for later.
Yep.
Here's the thing, though. Like, for Swed, he's only got 1 Invader, right? He's got Queeline. He hasn't done...
Yes.
He hasn't done more or Ancient Dragon Man. He's doing Ancient Dragon Man Invader now, but he would have to get more than after this. Or I don't know what else he could do.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else would be a good play. Oh, Blanks is recognizing, let me go get that Perfumed Oil right now.
Yeah.
Snipe it away from Swed, take away that threat, and then go back to Ymir. Great play from Blanks. Great recognition. You know, very unfortunate. I think he wanted to get Metter first, then go to the Perfumed Oil, but if he can get it right now, or actually, is this the way to the Perfumed? Yeah, this is the way to the Perfumed Oil.
Yeah, he's going for the Grace and then drops down.
Yep.
At the Carol Griffin.
Exactly.
Okay, and it looks like Swed is actually going for more now, by the way. But, dude, he has to kill 2 Kindreds now because he ported.
Yes. He has gotten Kindred cookbooks before if he happened to kill one of them afterwards because he was like, oh, in the future, I might need to do more. That might be smart, but I don't remember him doing that. So.
I don't remember him doing that either, but we'll find out in just a second here. We've talked about this many, many times. I hope these players have learned so far that if you port away after Queeline, he does not invade, and he does not know.
He does not know. He is not a knower.
All right. He just has to port to another kindred. Just port to another kindred. It doesn't matter which one. But that's going to take away those NPC invaders from blanks now. So you can't double up with Emir and invaders.
Yeah, it would have been really, really big play for blanks. So great play by Swed to choose this one. You know, unfortunately.
Where's he going?
I'm not sure. Is there another kindred over here somewhere?
I don't think so.
Then I'm not sure where Swed is headed to.
Why? Yeah. What is he? Why didn't he port?
That's a good question.
I guess he thought he was closer to the forge that had the other kindred.
Oh, yeah, could be. But yeah, no, the forge is a little ways away. Definitely would have been faster to port, but he's getting there eventually.
Yeah, he's getting there. He should get this before Blanks gets invaders. And then Blank's going to be grabbing, oil of Rellana here, going to be blocking that row 1. That force point was great, though, from Swed here. Really having him pivot off of Matir is kind of tough because now for Blanks, he has to go all the way back over, go down the ladder again.
Down the ladder again. Yeah, that's rough.
That's a time sink. There is the oil of Rellana, though, going to be quitting out and probably porting back again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's that other kindred.
He in theory could leave it longer now that you know he keeps seeing Swed do things that are not Ymir, but
he's going Dragon Pit. He's going Dragon Pit. Okay.
He might be going Egon's Furled Finger, Dragon Bosses.
He's finishing invaders. It's an invader race.
Oh,
he's going for Ancient Dragon Man.
Moore is a slow invader, but not that slow of an invader.
Also, Moore doesn't heal.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's a big Frostpock.
I don't know. Yeah, this could be interesting.
Yeah, and when you're invaded, you can't quit out. So Blanks is going to get stuck here for a really long time, potentially.
Yeah, Moore's already almost dead. There's the bleed proc. Yeah. Oh my God. Wait, that is huge for Swed. What a huge snipe.
Mm-hmm.
Huge. Mark it. Why do people mark after they port? It stresses me out. It stresses me out so much. There it is. And he can't quit out now. He has to do this. He can't quit out.
He has to kill it or die.
Dude, 11-8 for Swed right now. That is huge.
Yeah.
Okay, so now
11-8 with Blanks still having to do some slow squares just to block.
Yeah, and I think for Swed now he's looking at Dragon Bosses, Egon, Catacombs. Let me get some of these squares out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Huge call.
Yeah, if that had gone the other way, it would have been 9-10 with Blanks being set up on Ymir. Blanks might have even been slightly ahead at that point, but now definitely Swed is in the commanding seat because Blanks, he has to go back to Ymir. It's going to take a little while, and even once he gets Ymir and Jolan and Anna, he's still behind by 1. So this is rough.
Yeah, this is a huge driver's seat position right now for Swed. Going to be grabbing Ancient Dragon Man. Going to have access to all the bosses that he needs for Dragon Bosses and also Egon's Furled Finger. That's Dragon Bosses and Egon at the same time, by the way. So you can kind of double up on that if you really wanted to. And that's going to put him at 13. All he needs is Egon's Furled Finger and Dragon Bosses, and he wins.
That's true. What would be almost interesting, and I don't think... If you're Blanks, you could make this call. I think it would be such a hard call to make. But if Blanks had pivoted completely, gone for Egon's Finger and Dragon Bosses, and literally just left Ymir for the final 2 squares, that could have been huge.
Yeah.
Because if he gets those 2, all he has to do is then get 1 of Catacombs or Leda and her companions, then come back to Ymir, and he would have won. But that's a very hard, very risky play to make to say, let me continue to leave up your bingo line till the literal last square to block. That would have been a tough call.
The thing here, though, for Swed and for Blanks, right, is that Blanks sees that Swed's been constantly marking other things other than being in the area of Ymir. So that assumption isn't the worst idea of being like, hey, you keep marking other things that aren't actually Ymir or on the way to Ymir. I think I can hold this priority as long as you keep marking other squares and go for those blocks and those snipes rather than just trying to go for the Ymir square myself.
Yeah. And if Blanks had gotten that first kill on Ymir, he actually would have like pretty much pulled this all the way back. If we imagine that he had Ymir and Jolene and Anna at this point, it would only be 11-10. It would be so close to a tied game, and Blanks would have that priority having already gone through Ancient Dragon Man. So, you know, just that one death might end up, you know, really making Swed run away with this in a game that could have been fought back for entirely.
All right, and there it is. Phase 2 already for Blanks, by the way, on Matir. We have Ancient Dragon Man almost dead now. There it is for Swed. He gets a huge Frost proc into a nice little R1 there for Ancient Dragon Man. Almost a death here on Matir, by the way, as well for Blanks. Does not get hit by the...
How did Blanks not get hit by that?
The finger, he was like in between the fingers, I guess, you know? I don't know.
Check him PC. Check him PC. That's all I'm saying.
There it is, though. Matir is dead, and now he has to go for Ymir. This is still a lot of time.
Or he could pivot off, potentially, theoretically.
I don't think he is, yeah.
I don't think he is. If he did, it would be good, but yeah, that's using our knowledge of what Swed is doing. Honestly, he might still have time to finish this and still contest Egon's Finger Dragon bosses, but it's going to be tough. Swed is definitely going to have the lead there.
Dude, this is crazy. Swed not going for Jagged Peak Drake, but might come back later for this. Going to go for Egon's Finger first, as that is more of a guaranteed square, and then go for the rest of the dragon bosses. I think is a great idea here, just in case he misses on the other dragons. Anna here now for Blanks. Kind of a bit of an annoying NPC, but she's not too crazy. The question is, how is Ymir going to do? Because I feel like... here's the thing. If you have, like, Dragon Katana or whatever, Ymir is not too crazy. But, man, that dude teleports like there's no tomorrow. So I'm really wondering, like, how this Ymir is going to act for Blanks. Because if this guy constantly teleports, he's going to stall so much longer than he needs to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look, I'm just waiting. Are you done talking?
Are you done?
Are you done? Oh, he doesn't do the birth thing right away. Okay, there's the birth with the hand. And now it's teleport fiesta pretty much.
Yep. Oh, he's got great damage though.
Oh,
great staggering.
Wow. Oh, he gets a roll instead.
Oh,
wow.
Beautiful.
Huge fight. Huge fight. Very nice. There's that Ymir now.
Yeah, that's gonna let Swed know he's got this priority here on Egon's Furled Finger. So if Swed can just take out Egon right here, he's one square away, and he's got his sort of pick of all the squares that he wants. But Blanks has fought it and said, hey, you at least don't have any more bingo possibilities on me. All I got to do is fight for those last few squares. So it is right down to it.
Okay, it looks like that actually Blanks is pushing Jolene and Anna some, and this is going to give Swed even more time to do dragon bosses, because Blanks doesn't have any dragon bosses yet either. Dude. So here's the thing. Swed can go for this dragon boss, for Egon's Furled Finger, go for the other Jagged Peak Drake, buy Sanctified Wetblade, grab Holy, and kill a Ghost Flame Dragon, where he has the Grace already from early game because of the talismans.
Yeah.
That's it. I think 3 dragons.
Yeah, I think if you're Blanks, you got to know that you have to leave this and just say, hey, there's no line on the possibility here, and you have to leave Jolene for last. And oh no,
okay.
Swed.
That was a lot of damage, a headbutt there from the dragon as he just got struck by lightning.
I mean, if that happens a few more times, Blanks is back in this. But yeah, you know, if you're a Blanks fan, you definitely want to see him pivot off, knowing what we do about where Swed is headed. But Blanks might just be thinking, you know, oh, let me finish off this square that I have partially done. But I don't know. I think if anything, you leave that and you say, hey, Swed, if you want to come steal Jolene and Anna, if you want to do all of Ymir's quest to steal this square away from me, go for it. I'm going to go for everything else in the meantime.
Right.
So that's what I would have loved to see him do, but not the play he's ending up making. And so now it's really going to come down to Swed's execution. If Swed gets this one here, I think Swed has his pick of whatever he wants for the last square, and Swed is definitely going to get it.
Blanks got to be a little bit careful here with the parkour down to the tower. There it does get it though, and here's gonna have Jolan and Anna. Boom! That is
There it
11 to
is.
10 right now for Swed. This is telling Swed though that he's got time. Just play slow. You got time. He can get Egon's full finger, and when he gets Egon's full finger, he can go for Leda, he can go for Catacombs, he can go for Dragon Bosses. Like, it doesn't really matter as long as he makes a good choice. And honestly, I am not gonna lie, bro. If he gets Egon's full finger, Leda. He already has the Romina access. He already has Mesmer. Might as well just bulldoze those 2 bosses and then just send it to Leda. Don't even worry about Catacombs. Don't worry about Dragon Bosses. It's not worth your time.
For sure, for sure. I think that would be a great play. So yeah, Swed just has got to clean up this double dragon kill here, and yeah, I think Leda would be a great play. Honestly, pushing dragon bosses wouldn't be that bad either. You've got to know that Blanks probably doesn't have. If he does have a dragon heart, he maybe has one where it would be like the magma worm. Very unlikely that Blanks has more than one because he would have gone for Egon's furled finger with it. So, you know, whatever you want, you've got priority on at least 2 of the squares. Catacombs is kind of either player's game though.
Swed being a little risky here, not taking out the other dragon first. And there it is, Dragon's Pit now from Blanks, by the way. So Blanks making his way towards Egon's furled finger. Swed now has to lock in because Blanks is not that far away. He has to get this fight first.
Yeah, if Swed dies one more time, this is going to be an
risky.
extreme race for this one.
Very, very risky. Going for those jumping R2s here, trying to get a stagger as quick as he can. Is getting a good attack here from the dragon. Oh, there's a stagger.
Oh,
this
huge
could be
stagger.
huge. This could be huge.
I don't think it quite kills, but it is close.
Overhead stance. Goes for the insta riposte. No.
I don't think he wanted that. He looks a little disappointed with that. I think that was an accidental riposte.
Yeah.
So doesn't get as much damage as he could have.
Frost
Big frost proc though.
He has to be careful. He has to keep an eye on that other dragon, not to mess with his food right now. Oh, another stagger!
Oh another stagger! That should do it as long
No,
as
no, no, the fire! Oh, get up, get up!
He's alive, he's alive!
Oh my god, oh my
he does
god.
not get any
There's
damage on the stagger,
no
but-
way.
Oh my god.
He's got time, though. He's got time. He's got time.
Yeah, that 10 Skidoo saved him. If he did not have 10 Skidoo, he was definitely dead there.
Oh
but
my
there it is.
god, that is insane.
Yeah.
That is insane. That is disgusting.
Yeah. And now he's going to mark that, and Blanks is going to see. And yeah, that should seal it for Swed. With a death there, it was literally a 50-50 game. But with that, you know, Blanks is saying, oh my gosh, I have to snipe on everything now. How am I even going to do that?
Yeah. Blanks trying to figure out. Okay, I think Blanks is calling Leda here. And
I think he is.
And Swed is finishing
And Swed's going
dragons.
dragons.
What a huge call. So Blanks is like, okay, he's probably going to be doing Leda now because he doesn't want to put in. Dude, he did exactly. Blanks is countering exactly what I said. And Swed is not biting. Swed is not biting. He's like, no, I'm going to finish dragons. If I got Egon's fourth finger, I got the first dragon boss. So I'm going to keep pushing. And that's a great call.
Smart from both players. I think that's a great call from Blanks. I think that's one of your best opportunities to win is to call out Blanks and snipe him on this. Call out Swed and snipe him on Leda. And yeah, great call from Swed saying, hey, I know I've got at least one dragon. I probably have more priority on it than you. In this case, he does, and just going to finish it off.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I mean, honestly, like, what a match. Like, it has been so back and forth and, like, seconds difference on a few squares that really could have done it. If Blanks got the first kill on Metter, that could have brought him entirely back into it. If he'd gotten unique NPC invaders before Swed, they were both on their final NPC invader, you know, then it's 11-11, like perfectly tied at this point. Like, this has been just so back and forth and so well played from both of them.
Really great match, 110%. Yeah, this is going to be his second dragon now, and I really hope that Swed just full commits to dragons and doesn't like start pivoting after 2 dragons. I think that'd be very, very huge for him here. He's going to get another stagger here, and that's going to be huge. Going to go for another overhead stance most likely, and then going to be grabbing potentially this kill on this dragon. Nice bleed proc. Should get a frost proc here, maybe charge R2. Nice, there it is.
There it is. All right, 2 dragon bosses.
Go and get that. He's doing it. The wet blade, holy into Ghost Flame. Bro, I'm so proud. I am so happy. That is a great, great call here. This is going to be a possible 3-6 Swed right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going for it. He's grabbing the Holy Cracked here. He's grabbing the Sanctified Wet Blade. He's grabbing everything. And here it is, Romina now for blanks.
Yeah, great calls. And yeah, Swed just that one dragon kill away from securing the victory right here.
Wow. What a match from Swed, bro. What a match.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, from the start, he has just played so well, made so many amazing decisions, forced Blanks into some really tough spots that Blanks just, wasn't quite able to dig himself out of. And yeah, this is what you want to see. This is not, the same Swed that we might have seen week 1. This is an evolution. This is just such a good player, such great plays, and somebody who, I think anybody would be scared to face at this point in the season.
Yeah, I agree. Here we go. This is going to be the end of Ghost Flame Dragon and the end of the match here. Going to be 13-10 in majority for V-Swed. Going to be ending the season at 3-6.
Yeah. Definitely, maybe not one of the absolute top scorers, but he has played like he's one of the, the top 4 for sure in so many of these matches, and especially this one. And you got to feel proud about that if you're Swed, and you got to look at it knowing, hey, if I come back next season, I could be there. I could be one of the top 4, and he has proven it today. He's proven it throughout the season, and man, just
and there it
such
is.
Impressive play.
There it is.
There it is.
Holy.
GG.
We did it. Holy shit. Hot damn. Swed pulling a dub over Blanks with a huge column 5 pressure point into grabbing every single square possible. What a fantastic match. What a fantastic match. Huge. Absolutely huge.
Oh, yeah, like what more can you say about that match? Like we're almost speechless because it was played so well from both sides, and I think this is the most exciting match I have seen, or at least one of them. And oh my god, speechless.
Speechless. I am without speech. Let's bring in Swed here. Welcome in, Swed. Yo, GG's, man.
Thanks,
Amazing
dude.
game you played.
That was fantastic, dude. Just a lot of really good calls, really good predictions here. Kind of walk us through your match, man, because there is a lot of just amazing calls that you've been making, and I kind of want to just get your thoughts on what you were thinking throughout the whole thing.
Starting out was tough. I wasn't expecting Blanks to get Queeline in the middle, just because, there's sure it worked towards endgame squares like Jolan or whatever it was. What was on the board that needed the grace, right? Was it Jolan? Am I missing
Jolan
that?
and Anna, yeah.
Yeah, so it works towards that, and sure it works towards Occultation, you could say too, but for him to go in there at the very, very beginning, I wasn't expecting it. But when I saw him get Queeline, and then after I had done my I just picked talismans. There were so many rushable squares. I just picked one. I just wanted map progression, so I just picked talismans. And I saw Dane, so I was like, maybe if I get map, I can get Dane too. So when I saw him get Queeline, I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna get 2 squares, and then he marked ADM. I'm like, okay, he still doesn't have castle progression. And then there was Chief Bloodfiend, there was Loger, Memory of Grace, and then I'm like, okay, column 5's looking okay, and I don't think he's got any map at all. So I just set up column 5. I knew I wasn't going from I shouldn't say. I was really contemplating going for Ymir or Occultation. I couldn't decide which one I wanted. And then I was saying out loud in my chat, I was like, this is probably the deciding factor if I go for Ymir or Occultation right now, and I'm picking Occultation. Just because it blocked 2 of his bingo threats at the time, right?
Very smart, I think.
Yeah, so I knew he has to respect Ymir, just based on him not having castle yet, or having access to Pasto Mother at that point. But he had access past ADM, so that's why I respected it and didn't want to rush him. I just wanted to play the long game on it.
Yeah.
Because I knew it was about 50-50 on progression on that square for both of us. So I was like, I'm just gonna let him put all of his effort and time into that. And at the same time, as long as I'm not marking anything too quickly, he has to work on it because he doesn't know if we're racing, right? So like that's why Occultation was the perfect square, because I had no progress on it, and I just got to do that whole square while he was, I'm assuming, working on Ymir. I'm assuming, but it worked out, I think. And then the end game was just like I kind of in the back of my mind knew he was going to have those 2 extra squares, Ymir and why can't I remember the name of this? Jolan, Ymir and Jolan. I can't remember it. Yeah, I knew like he was kind of like had those in the bag. So in my mind, the score was always whatever his score was +2 the whole game. Like that's literally how I was playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I knew I wasn't going to contest it, and I knew if I let him have it, then I had to have squares in other places.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I mean, just a bunch of right calls, man. Let's go ahead and bring in Blanks here as well. We'll talk about the mid to late game here too.
Sure.
Welcome in, Blanks. GG's, man.
GG.
So there is a lot on this board that was going on, and a huge pressure point from Sweat on the column 5 here. What was your overall game process? As you did rush Queeline, you did grab Blade of Mercy with Swed, thinking that we thought that you were going for talismans, but then you only picked up one of them, and then you switched to Queeline instead. What was your overall thought process? I guess maybe grabbing talismans with Queeline because of the Crusader insignia.
True. That's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was going to this game like playing defensively because I know Sweat has one playstyle of just build bingo threat, then just race 13 squares. I knew that's how he
knows, dude. He knows.
But like, I didn't think I was gonna lose hats. Like, I guess he just went backside for cookbooks and shields, and I didn't think he'd do Moonrefill that quickly. So. I don't know. I didn't like this board at all. This was like my least favorite board of all time. Like
this was a very mid-game board. I felt.
Queeline, Dane, ADM, Loger. Like that's such a trash. Like I
was saying that at the start. I literally just threw a dart at this board and picked a square at the start, and I just picked talismans. Like I was like, I hope he doesn't go for talismans. Like there was really no way to know what you were gonna do. You know?
I mean, I think like if I just did cookbooks instead of Bloodfiend, I thought you were going for Bloodfiend, and I wanted to like. I
was, dude. Oh my goodness. When you got Bloodfiend, I was talking out loud, like, because like I just talk to myself when I'm doing this, and I was like saying like Bloodfiend's the most important square right now, and that's where I'm heading. And then you marked it. I was like, there's no shot he did Bloodfiend, because that would have been my third Ash. You took Ash for me too. I sat on that for so long, and I was so mad. I don't know if you guys noticed on commentary when I gave the Occultation to Queeline, I was just standing there for a while. I thought he gave me his Ash. That's for the other one.
Oh, that's great. Grace is always Ashes. Occultations is for the weapon. Yeah.
And I didn't know, so I had to wait. And I was like, is he gonna give me my third Ash? And I waited, and then he gave me his weapon. And I was like, oh, okay, never mind. I wasn't sure. I was like, they're all probably like, what is this guy doing right now? I'm sure a lot of people were, but I couldn't remember, and I wanted to check.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I knew I lost like once you got hats. I'm like, yeah, the game's over. He's just gonna get squares while I go for Metter.
Yeah.
I had NPC invaders, but ADM just neutral jumped 4 times in a row, and he just stalled until you got the square. Yeah. I was really frustrated about that. I literally had invaders on you, and then ADM literally decided to neutral jump 4 times, and I just
no attack, just jumping, dude.
Yeah, from our perspective, Swed was definitely into. He did the more fight. He was definitely into it a little bit faster. So from our perspective, it looked like Swed was probably going to get it anyway.
Yeah, he was going to get it regardless.
It was really unfortunate that he stalled for so long, so you couldn't get back to getting to Ymir. But yeah. Also, then Blanks, you were so close to coming back into it, and that one really unfortunate Metter fight where she just did like triple laser into like the
big
unavoidable laser into triple laser again.
Oh,
like that was so unfortunate.
Yeah,
and
then
where you at, Blanks?
How much did you do? Like 4.
Yeah. Okay. That's
I went up to 7 after Metter, but
yep.
Yeah, I mean, I just neglected column 5 way too long. You just like rush squares once you build up that pressure, which is like the correct way to do. You just block row 4, you block column 4, and then you just put develop row 1, and it's just over at that point.
Yeah, you meant column 1, right?
You also blocked column 4 with discus, or column 4 with discus. I was like,
yeah,
probably
at the time,
discus
you're
or
right.
Rellana.
Correct. Yeah, you're right about that. How did that stay up on the board for so long? I was really surprised because you had both, what's it called? Hippo incants, Crucible incants, sorry. I was really surprised that you didn't grab that too.
I mean, I thought you were rushing Ymir. Like that's because you weren't.
That's
marking
fair. Yeah,
squares,
you
I
don't
thought
got
you were
time
rushing.
to waste on
And-
Verdi.
Right.
Yeah, there. That's fair.
And instead of doing more, you should have done Yolan for Invader. Probably
I was
beat me
considering it
to
for
Invader.
sure.
And
But like
when
I
you
said,
marked
I
Invader,
didn't
I'm
want
like,
to.
oh, that's Yolan. So,
Yeah.
so
Wait.
I'm like, oh, I just lose now.
When I marked Invaders, you thought I did Jolan? Wouldn't Ymir have to be dead for that, or am I stupid?
Yeah.
No, the first Invader before.
Oh, Anna.
Oh,
Anna.
Anna before Metter.
Oh, dude, I always forget about her. And then her throwing weapon is just so good. I remember you did it, right? Was that
Yeah.
you? Yeah, that thing
Yeah.
is ridiculous. Right. True.
So
I should've-
why
would've been a good idea.
Why dragons, by the way, instead of just going letter or catacombs?
Just because I knew you had,
I-
I knew you had ADM open, and I thought you wouldn't want to do squares that you already have some progression into. I just, because like I don't know, just from behind, like I wouldn't go for dragons in that spot, so I just thought maybe you
Okay.
wouldn't. Plus, I mean, I was juiced to the nines, dude. I was like Skidoo 11, like level 1 million. Like I was just destroying the dragons with overhead stance, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
it was pretty fast. Like even body shots were like chunking, like for a lot of damage. Like leg shots were just really fast kills.
So did you do like the infinite loop on Moonrathil that Tom taught you?
No, I didn't want to chance it because I hadn't practiced the infinite yet, and I
okay.
didn't want to try that. And honestly,
I
as
w-
long as you just do 1, 2, 3 back up, you're pretty much fine with her. As long as you don't do the fourth with the Great Katana, because the fourth attack and the Great Katana string of attacks has like a really long animation cooldown where you're kind of just stuck standing there. If you only do 3, you can like micro sprint backwards and strafe attacks. Like I do that with like a lot of the NPCs.
Yeah.
Like ADM. Like I just do 1, 2 poke back up, bait out attack, 1, 2 poke back up, bait out attack. Yeah.
There was
That
there was a
the
lot
worst
that was
board of all
happening.
time.
Yeah, it was.
There's a lot happening on this board here for blanks. When it came to Ymir, like obviously that is definitely a huge pressure point, column 5. But Sweat was definitely grabbing quite a few squares that were not really showing Ymir progression. But you still kind of committed to it. Was it just like out of worry that that he was hiding progression, or what was the the full force of pushing all the way through to Jolene and Anna? You know what I mean?
Well, the timeline worked out. Like he definitely could have been there. Like that's what I was
Yep.
thinking because he did back section.
It was so
that
early.
means he did back section and he also had 10 Skidoo. So he had Finger Ruins Deo, and all he had to do was just kill ADM, and then he could have
Yeah,
equal progress.
you're right.
Because I had to do the skip, so
Yeah.
I was like kind of behind on Ymir. So
Gotcha.
And it was such an early pressure line or column that I could hide progress over the course of the game. Like at some point he has to go for it. At some point he has to for sure block it because like it was really early on when that presented itself as a threat. But
Yeah.
I mean, Blanks knows my play style. Like he called it the second he came in here. Like he knows I play Blanks a lot, so he knows exactly what my
hindsight,
tricks.
in hindsight, it's always just for me, it's always just Moonrathil, like instead of ADM. But yeah, I don't know.
Wait, what's in hindsight? What's Moonrathil and ADM?
I just do Moonrathil instead of ADM, and then
Oh.
column 5 isn't the threat, and then I don't have to
True.
spend 20 minutes doing Ymir.
Right.
That's true. That's all. It's all.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
50,
Well,
50.
yeah. Moonrathil was the first one he got. No, it was after Kindred Cookbooks. It was the second one he got in that column. So it's hard to see that as a threat when there's only one
That's a good
square
point,
marked in
Mitch.
it at that point.
Yeah.
And I was
just-
thinking,
yeah, go on.
sorry, I was thinking that like I have cookbooks or hats to block with, but I didn't think I'd lose both. So that's kind of unfortunate for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm guessing
Yeah,
you
I
get the Church
grabbed-
High Road cookbook.
Yeah, no, yeah. The one on top of the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blanks.
And then-
I was gonna say you looked a bit surprised when Swed marked hats as well.
I was very, very surprised. I was like, oh, he went back section. I thought when he marked, what was it? He marked something, and I said, oh, that's front hippo. Was it
DLC shields, probably.
Shields? Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, that's
There you
front
go.
hippo because he did Ensis, first floor shadow keep, and whatever. I'm like, yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely front hippo. But I guess you just did
I went
the
back.
2 from back section. And
Yeah,
then,
correct. I went loft and did the
Moonrathil.
drop down and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's my mistake.
I wanted to say the only reason I did Moonrathil when I did, it's not because I saw threat in column 5. The only reason I did it was just to block your Queen center square. Just as much block as because I had Talisman's Dry Leaf Dane,
Yep.
and I was like, all right, Moonrathil, let's go, right? And that's where I was like, okay, Chief Bloodfiend's gonna block the other diagonal, and I'm gonna work on Ashes. And then you got Bloodfiend, and I was like, oh, that's really bad for me. So I was like, it's mask time. Like, let's go back section. You know, that's how it went.
And it was just great calls, honestly, Sweat. Just honestly, very great calls. You know, the blocks kind of working into a bingo line definitely worked out. Column 5 looking very, very strong. GG's to you, Swed. That was your last match actually of the season.
It was. It was. Yeah.
Any sadly not top 4 this time around, but hopefully next season. Any closing words from you, man?
I would love to have some words. Yeah. First of all, Domo, thank you so much for letting me play in the league. I had so much fun this last month. It's literally like all I did on stream was bingo. Not only because I wanted to get good and put on good matches. It's literally so much fun. It's so addicting. So first of all, thank you, Domo, for putting this on for everyone in chat that comes and watches. Thank you guys. Mitch, thanks for the commentary. Blanks, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. Blanks, CBD, and Tom are like the 3 homies that really helped me grind and get better so that I could even do this. So thank you to you guys, and I appreciate it. I would love to be back next season. I would love to. I mean, you know, I would
putting his name out there.
I'm putting it out there. I'm down. I'm here for it.
I have a list in my head. No worries,
He's
man.
got
I
a
got
list,
you. I got a list in my head. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. And yeah, it was. You know, it's always a little. I don't want to say scary, but it's always a little worrisome when you bring in new people, like if they take it as seriously as the other people, you know, and be like, okay, well, if I bring you in now, like, are you going to actually like trying to be at the same level as the other ones? Because sometimes when people like just want to be a part of something, but then they're like, oh yeah, but I didn't think it was going to be this serious. It's like, no, this is like a serious competition. So there's that, but I think you did absolutely amazing, and I think watching you grow over the season as well. And I mean, you know, a bit of a you know, a self-prophecy, you know, where after I think your first 2 matches, you're like, Dom, I never want to lose like that ever again. And you know, here you are.
No,
you know,
I didn't. I was embarrassed.
You know,
I felt bad for you. I felt bad for everyone watching, because like you guys in chat are waking up, setting your alarm to come watch this, and like you just see that match of like, you know, I lose 6-1 bingo in 10 minutes or whatever. I was like, dude, that's awful. Like I just like, that's bad, you know, like that's just bad. Can't have that. And
this honestly is like the exact opposite of that. And I think that's like, I think seeing that journey, you know, was amazing, and seeing you grow as much as you did. So that was genuinely just awesome. And yeah, I think there's a lot to be proud of here for you as well, man. So I appreciate you playing 100%.
Oh, and I appreciate you having me, man. I do.
Yeah, no, 100%. With that being said, though, guys, we're gonna go and call it here, though. GG's to Swed for the dub, and Blanks will have you in the next match here in about 10 to 15 versus CBD. Guys, please go check out Swed. He has a very nice community and just does a lot of amazing content. So please go ahead and check him out. We'll have Blanks here back in about 10 to 15. And yeah, we'll get ready for CBD versus Blanks in just a short moment here, all right?
Sounds good.
Have a good one, Swed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.